Hello, just doing a quick review on the Spyridon MR, which I will quickly show you here. There they are. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm on quite a steep slope here. These things never really show up. So if I put my camera facing straight ahead, you can see into the trees. If I point down the slope, that's the kind of angle that we're on, which is probably about 30 degrees, I guess. And it's just really to look at the traction in these shoes. I mean, obviously it's dry at the minute, but they've got amazing traction, really great. Obviously, that's what they're designed for. Also designed specifically for the mud, so you can see the whole, tractor tire kind of sole there. I've used these in the mud just previously. See the way that the grips go alternating, so that they give you traction both downhill and uphill. I don't know if you can spot that there. But these are the MRs because one of the things with this model is that because it's designed for mud running, hence the MR, is great for those kinds of races. And in fact, any Vibram FiveFinger is pretty good for a mud race. The original ones, which were like slick tyres, probably not your best choice. But my experience with them was that really interestingly, say, you can be the judge of that, is that first run I went out on, perhaps October, November 2006, in a pair of classics down a bridle trail in the middle of October. It's thick mud as you can imagine. And what I noticed was that by about 15 minutes into it, my soles of my feet were starting to cramp. Oh, this is a bit weird, I've not had this before. What I realised was that I was using my toes to dig in and give me traction. And it was one of those aha moments where you suddenly realise that that's why I've got toes on the end of my feet, so they can dig into the ground and pull me along, just like a dog's claws digging into the ground. So suddenly, after whatever it was, 32 years of wearing shoes all my life and relying on the external grip on the shoe, you suddenly realise that intrinsically you've got a gripping mechanism built into the foot, and that no other shoe allows you to actually use that. So the Vibram FiveFingers have become uber popular with mud runners for that very reason, and also because they're so tight to the foot. The old classics, that pair actually on that same run, I was going down the bridleway, and I suddenly realised that I'd lost the shoe about 6 or 7 metres back up the trail. But it felt so barefoot, and the shoes were full of mud. They're classics, so they didn't have the strapping over the top, so they just literally got suctioned off my foot as I picked the foot up out of the mud. They got left behind in the mud. Now with these Spyridon MRs, they've got the lacing system there, the quick release lacing system, so you can pull them tight, you can tighten that down and then Velcro it. And these things just don't come off. So that's another reason why people like them for the mud races. On top of that, they don't have big bulky sole units off the side. Essentially, they're foot-shaped sole units, so they don't pick up additional mud. So they don't really get any heavier when you're running in mud either, compared to a running shoe. And on top of that, they don't have any materials to soak up the water, so they stay nice and lightweight. They shed the mud well. They don't come off. They give you extra grip because you can actually use your toes the way they're designed to be used. And on top of that, at the end of a lot of mud races, I don't know if you've ever been to one, but there's often a big pile of old shoes that people are essentially just throwing away because they're just dead, having been exposed to that much mud. Well, the FiveFingers, of course, the entire range is machine washable. I would just hose them down in the back garden, chuck them in the washing machine, and they come out looking good as new. So anyway, that's a brief rundown of the grip side. On top of that, there's also the Cocoon Technology that's within the sole. So Cocoon Technology is through the window there, and I don't know if you can make that out at all. Maybe just a little bit through there, struggling to focus. But that Cocoon Technology is designed so that if you hit something sharp like a stone, let's put that in the middle of the trail here, if that's up and you're running along and you come down on it like this, ooh, let's get the filming right, come down on it like that as you're running, well, the cocoon, essentially, imagine the stone bashes up into the cocoon. Can't show you while I'm holding this. It bashes up into the cocoon and it spreads the force laterally across the mesh, essentially. And what that means is that you don't get so much force going up into the foot, but the force goes laterally across the mesh, and that means that you get a smoother ride on rough terrain like natural terrain, and you're not going to get so much sort of stone bruising or bruising from hitting roots in the forest and so on. And at the same time, it's of course extremely thin. This mesh is less than 1 millimetre thick, and it's extremely flexible, so you can still wrap your foot around the roots and the stones without compromising the function of those 33 joints in the foot. So anyway, that's my little roundup. Slightly longer than anticipated, but hope you got something from that, and we'll speak soon, no doubt.